Have you ever looked at two different cars from different brands and felt an uncanny sense of déjà vu? Perhaps the lines seemed too similar, or the proportions felt identical, despite the badges being completely different. It's a common phenomenon in the automotive world, and it's not a coincidence. Beneath the distinctive paint and unique emblems, many vehicles share a surprising amount of engineering DNA. This practice is a strategic maneuver in the complex high-stakes realm of car manufacturing. This video will pull back the curtain on this automotive illusion, unveiling 12 fascinating examples of cars that are secretly the same. More importantly, it'll delve into the underlying reasons why this practice is so prevalent in the automotive industry, exploring the benefits and drawbacks for both car makers and consumers. The concept of cars sharing their fundamental architecture or even their entire design can be broadly categorized into two main practices: badge engineering and platform sharing. While often confused, these two approaches differ significantly in their scope and execution. Badge engineering, also known as rebadging, is the practice in which a single car model is sold under different brand names with minimal or no changes to its core design. It involves applying a new badge or trademark, a different brand, logo, or manufacturer's name to an existing product line. The alterations are typically confined to superficial elements such as swapping emblems or making minor cosmetic changes to headlights, taillights, front and rear fascias, and sometimes even outer body skins. The primary driver behind badge engineering is cost efficiency. Developing an entirely new vehicle from scratch is an incredibly expensive undertaking, involving billions of dollars in research and development or R&D. By rebadging an existing model, manufacturers can avoid these massive upfront costs, sharing R&D expenses and significantly reducing tooling and production outlays. This approach also allows for brand diversification and helps fill market gaps. A company can quickly introduce a product into a segment where it lacks a competitive offering, or leverage the reputation of a local or established brand without substantial investment. Sometimes this even involves two separate unaffiliated manufacturers trading products to round out their respective lineups. Furthermore, rebadging contributes to economies of scale by increasing the production volume of the underlying vehicle, thereby lowering the per-unit manufacturing cost. In certain instances, collaborating through rebadging can also help companies meet stringent regulatory compliance standards, such as safety or emission norms in specific regions. Historically, this practice dates back to the early 20th century. General Motors, or GM, pioneered the concept around 1909 by sharing chassis and platforms among its various brands like Buick, Cadillac, Chevrolet, and Oldsmobile. For example, GMC trucks were often rebadged as Chevrolet models, with premium brands like Buick and Cadillac receiving enhanced exteriors and interiors to justify a luxurious appeal. Platform sharing, in contrast, is a more fundamental and sophisticated practice. It involves utilizing a shared set of common design, engineering, and production efforts, along with major components such as the chassis, floor pan, suspension, and drivetrain, across a number of outwardly distinct models. The crucial difference here is that while the underlying structure and many mechanical components are identical, the visual appearance, body styles, and even the type of car can be vastly different. Think of it as sharing the skeleton or architecture of a car, but then designing completely different bodies or top hats to sit on top of it. The widespread adoption of platform sharing is primarily driven by cost reduction. Automakers spend the majority of their time and money on developing these foundational platforms. By spreading these research and development costs over multiple product lines, manufacturers can significantly cut expenses, ultimately allowing them to offer products at a lower cost to consumers. This also enables increased product variety and market coverage. Companies can develop and launch a wider range of differentiated products faster and more affordably, covering various market segments from economy cars to luxury vehicles or even sports cars and SUVs, all from the same basic underpinnings. A significant benefit that arises from this approach is increased quality and innovation. When manufacturers focus their R&D resources on developing fewer, highly adaptable platforms, they can refine designs with fewer variations. This focused effort can lead to higher quality components, lower defect rates, and a greater ability to integrate new technologies. Furthermore, platform sharing facilitates global standardization, allowing manufacturers to design flexible platforms that can be tailored to a country's specific needs without compromising quality, streamlining manufacturing, and improving logistics worldwide. worldwide. Regardless of whether it's badge engineering or platform sharing, manufacturers employ various strategies to differentiate shared vehicles and align them with individual brand identities. These efforts extend beyond simple badge swaps and can include exterior styling. Unique headlights, tail lights, grills, and front or rear fascias are common ways to create a distinct visual identity. Sometimes even unique sheet metal is used. Interior design. Different materials, dashboard layouts, trim options, and seating designs are utilized to create a brand-specific cabin ambience. Performance tuning. Subtle adjustments to suspension settings, steering feel, and engine calibration can significantly alter a vehicle's driving dynamics and character. Feature sets. Brands often offer different levels of technology, advanced safety features, or luxury amenities to distinguish models and justify varying price points. The escalating cost of automotive innovation is a fundamental force driving these strategic sharing practices. The sheer financial investment required to design and engineer a completely new vehicle, especially with ever-increasing demands for advanced safety systems, stringent emission controls, sophisticated infotainment, and electrification, makes sharing not just an option but a commercial imperative for most manufacturers. The historical progression from GM's early platform sharing to today's highly modular and flexible architectures illustrates a continuous adaptation to this relentless economic pressure. Without these shared foundations, the automotive landscape would be far less diverse, and many niche or affordable models might simply not exist. This evolution also highlights a significant shift from what was once considered blatant rebadging to a more sophisticated platform strategy. Early instances of badge engineering were often viewed as superficial, leading to a derogatory perception of the term itself. The minimal effort involved in simply swapping badges frequently resulted in consumer confusion and would dilute a brand's identity. However, as the industry matured, manufacturers recognized that consumers are increasingly discerning. The trend has moved toward platform strategies that allow for substantial differentiation, often referred to as distinct top hats, the body and interior, on a shared platform, the chassis and mechanicals. This strategic maturation ensures that brands can maintain their unique integrity and appeal while still benefiting from shared development costs. It acknowledges that to succeed, a shared vehicle must offer a compelling, distinct value proposition to its target market, beyond just a different logo. The widespread adoption of badge engineering and platform sharing has profound implications for both automotive manufacturers and consumers, presenting a mix of advantages and disadvantages. One of the most direct benefits for consumers is lower prices. By spreading research, development, and production costs across multiple models, manufacturers can produce vehicles more affordably, and these savings can often be passed on to the buyer. This also leads to more choices and greater product variety. Without these collaborations, many specialized or niche vehicles like the Toyota GR86 or Subaru BRZ sports car might never have been developed, limiting options in the market. Moreover, platform sharing can lead to potentially higher quality and innovation. When R&D resources are concentrated on fewer core platforms, manufacturers can invest more in refining components, leading to better engineering and potentially lower defect rates. Larger production runs for shared platforms also often translate to broader aftermarket support, offering more parts and tuning options for enthusiasts. Finally, consumers benefit from brand familiarity and dealership accessibility. A buyer might prefer a specific brand due to its established reputation, warranty offers, or a convenient dealership network, even if the underlying vehicle is shared with another brand. Despite the advantages, these practices are not without their downsides for consumers. A significant concern is consumer confusion. When identical or near-identical products are sold under different brands, it can dilute brand identity and make purchasing decisions perplexing. This can lead to a sense of being deceived by manufacturers. There's also a perceived lack of innovation. Over-reliance on blatant badge engineering can create the impression that brands are merely offering carbon copies rather than genuinely new or unique vehicles. Consumers today actively seek out unique features and modern advancements, and a lack of clear differentiation can be a turn-off. Most critically, if not executed thoughtfully, simply slapping a badge on another company's product can lead to brand dilution and devaluation. Companies invest millions in cultivating a distinct brand image and identity. When a brand is perceived as merely a badge of convenience for someone else's product, it risks losing its unique qualities and meaning to consumers, potentially leading to cynicism and a decline in brand stature. The automotive industry is replete with examples of both highly successful and notably unsuccessful applications of shared platforms and badge engineering. Toyota Maruti Suzuki, India. This partnership has been exceptionally successful, with rebadged Maruti Suzuki models accounting for nearly half of Toyota Kirloskar Motors sales in India, significantly boosting Toyota's wholesale numbers and year-on-year growth. Hyundai Kia. Within the Hyundai Motor Group, models like the Hyundai Creta and Kia Seltos, or the Hyundai Venue and Kia Sonet, share platforms, engines and gearboxes, yet they compete strongly in the market, demonstrating effective differentiation. Volkswagen Group, VW, Skoda, Audi. The Volkswagen Group is a master of platform sharing. Models such as the Audi A3, VW Golf and Skoda Octavia all share the highly adaptable MQB platform but are meticulously designed to cater to different market segments. Similarly, the VW Taygun and Skoda Kushaq, or VW Virtus and Skoda Slavia, share platforms but offer distinct features and designs. This approach allows for successful market stratification and broad market coverage. GM full-size SUVs. As discussed, the Chevrolet Tahoe, GMC Yukon and Cadillac Escalade, despite sharing underpinnings, successfully attract unique audiences with minimal complaints of badge engineering due to significant differentiation in styling, features and luxury. Aston Martin Signet. This rebadged Toyota IQ, despite its premium features and high price, flopped due to poor sales. It was widely seen as misaligned with Aston Martin's luxury target market, demonstrating that a badge alone cannot justify a product that doesn't fit the brand's core identity. Rover City Rover. A rebadged Tata Indica, this vehicle failed spectacularly in the UK market. It was criticised as a poorly executed attempt to prevent MG Rover's bankruptcy, highlighting the risks of poor market alignment and insufficient differentiation. Renault and Nissan. While generally successful partners, some rebadged models like Nissan's Terrano, a rebadged Renault Duster, and Renault Scala, a rebadged Nissan Sunny, failed to gain traction in India due to a lack of perceived uniqueness. Volkswagen Audi 50. Essentially a rebadged VW Polo, the Audi 50 was discontinued despite the Polo's widespread success, illustrating that even within a successful group, not all rebadging attempts work. Pontiac G3. A rebadged Chevrolet Aveo, which itself was a Daewoo-designed car, the G3 was a sad introduction and failed to sell well, contributing to Pontiac's eventual demise. Volkswagen Routan. This rebadged Dodge Grand Caravan lasted only 5 years, indicating consumer rejection of a blatant rebadge that offered little unique value. Honda Crossroad. A rebadged Land Rover Discovery sold in Japan. It became infamous for reliability issues, demonstrating the risk of rebadging a product with inherent quality problems. These outcomes underscore a critical lesson. Badge engineering works best when consumer preferences and brand positioning are carefully aligned. It tends to fail when the rebadged product is misaligned with the target market or priced unrealistically. Successful differentiation, extending beyond mere badges, is crucial for long-term viability and brand integrity. The varying perception of shared vehicles reveals a transparency paradox in consumer perception. On one hand, blatant badge engineering, where the underlying vehicle is barely disguised, often leads to consumer cynicism and a feeling of being deceived. Consumers are generally not impressed by simple badge swaps and can see through superficial attempts at differentiation. This is evident in the commercial failures of models like the Aston Martin Signet or the VW Routan. On the other hand, platform sharing, when executed with significant and meaningful differentiation in styling, features and driving dynamics, as seen with the GM full-size SUVs or the Lexus ES, is generally accepted and even appreciated. Consumers recognize the value proposition: lower costs, more choices and potentially higher quality from shared engineering. This suggests that the secretly the same approach works when the secret is an underlying efficiency that benefits the consumer, rather than a superficial disguise that feels like a trick. This distinction also highlights the fragility of brand equity, which is a manufacturer's most valuable asset. While badge engineering offers immediate cost savings and quick market penetration, the potential for brand dilution and devaluation is a significant long-term cost. Companies invest immense resources in building a distinct brand image, identity, and a set of cherished qualities. When they then slap Citroën badges on a Mitsubishi or Aston badges on a Toyota, it can devalue the business and cause brands to stagnate, grow quiet, and eventually die. The failures listed are not just sales losses, they represent a deeper erosion of brand identity and consumer trust. This underscores that short-term gains from blatant rebadging can inflict severe, lasting damage on a brand's most critical asset, its unique meaning and connection with consumers. The phenomenon of cars being secretly the same is not a fleeting trend, but a deeply ingrained and evolving practice within the global automotive industry. From the early days of General Motors sharing chassis among its brands, to today's sophisticated modular architectures, shared platforms and strategic rebadging represent a pragmatic approach to balancing cost efficiency with market demands. The relentless pressure of escalating development costs for new technologies, safety features, and powertrains makes these sharing strategies not just advantageous, but often essential for manufacturers to remain competitive and profitable. For consumers, understanding the engineering beneath the badge is empowering. This knowledge allows for more informed purchasing decisions, enabling buyers to recognize true value, genuine innovation, and the strategic intent behind a vehicle's design, rather than being swayed solely by superficial branding. The industry continues to grapple with the delicate trade-off between maximizing cost reduction and ensuring sufficient product differentiation. The future will likely see even more advanced forms of platform sharing, allowing for greater customization and unique identities atop common foundations, as manufacturers strive to meet diverse market needs while maintaining financial viability. What are your thoughts on cars that are secretly the same? Do you have a favorite example of clever platform sharing or a rebadge that genuinely surprised you? Share your insights in the comments below.